At our current greenhouse gas emission rate, NASA claims that we will lose 400 trillion tons of ice a year. Everyone in this room uses electricity. Therefore, everyone in this room contributes to part of the problem. And as someone who lives on this planet, I feel it's part of my duty to bring forth some of these issues as well as provide some potential solutions. The cause of ice loss, as I mentioned, is greenhouse gases. Our CO2 emission rates have reached an all-time high, and this was done by a researcher named Peter Essick of National Geographic. He also found that our greenhouse gas emissions have reached an all-time high in the last 100 million years. The UCS USA claims that 29% of these emissions are based off of carbon-based fuels that make electricity, such as coal power plants. Most people don't attribute, though, or don't draw this correlation between this excess of CO2 production and the global warming that comes with it. This is often seen as a myth, especially in colder regions. However, there's a study done where 97% of scientists all believe that global warming is directly correlated to mankind's production of carbon-based emissions. So why is this a problem? The main reason is the greenhouse effect. And the greenhouse effect, in short, what it is when you produce greenhouse gases such as CO2 or carbon monoxide, it in turn does a greenhouse effect, whereas the sun comes in, bounces off the earth, it gets trapped in the atmosphere by these gases, which in turn, as they trap that energy, heats them up over the atmosphere. And the problem with this is it causes natural disasters. The NOAA found that from 2011 to 2015, our natural disaster relief budget doubled to $10.4 billion when compared to the last 35 years. And a lot of people believe this is due to Earth's natural heating cycle. While Earth does have natural heating, this is not a natural heating cycle. It is moving at an accelerated rate, as it happens usually over millions of years. Obviously, this is a problem. However, it's unrealistic to think that we can just stop producing energy altogether. Our world is based around electronics. So what is there to do? Renewable energies are the most promising aspect for a solution. They are things such as solar energy, wind energy, and they use renewable energy sources and have little to zero carbon-based emissions. Stuart Prager, a plasma physicist, one of the theoretical ways of producing energy is through plasma power plants. He found that with a average plasma power plant, you could generate 150,000 or enough energy to power 150,000 homes in 8 minutes. However, all these problems are cost. When it comes down to it, oil's cheap. Renewable energies usually are expensive. However, Dominic Dudley, who was a journalist for 15 years, looked into the costs of solar and the costs of oil and compared them. And a kilowatt hour is just a measurement of energy and how much it costs. If you've ever paid your electricity bill, you know what I'm talking about. So the cost of solar energy right now to produce is 10 cents per kilowatt hour, and the cost of oil right now is between 5 and 17 cents per kilowatt hour. So the thing is, we're decreasing where solar energy is where it's almost compatible with oil, and it's believed that by the year 2020, it'll be a direct competitor to oil. However, a lot of times when you get into these problems, you don't know what you can do yourself. They seem a lot bigger than you. So what can you do personally? One of the main things right now is a green pricing program. Most electric companies offer a program where you sign up for an additional monthly rate, might be between you and your company, but it can vary. And what it'll end up doing is it'll donate that additional money that you're spending and put it into renewable energy projects that are within that electric company. Here it would be, for example, if they're building solar arrays. And the next thing is you can support green companies. Some companies right now are pledging to have 100% renewable energies when it's most efficient. These companies include things like Walmart and Johnson & Johnson. So by supporting these companies, you're also supporting the altered way that they're moving towards. And finally is you can vote. You can vote for politicians that are going to be supporting green energy. Most politicians nowadays do support it. However, not everyone does, as our current president does not. So it's important to look into whether or not they're going to be supportive of these solutions and if they're going to enforce them. So final thoughts. Biggest thing, reduce your carbon footprint. as we mentioned before, by looking into renewable energies, you're reducing your carbon output in the sense that you're decreasing your carbon-based emissions. Start to make a difference in your community. This can be, like we said, by voting. If you vote for your local state representatives or voting on a proposition, what you're going to be doing is in turn putting money towards these renewable-based energies. And finally, it's now or never. There's going to be a point where we're not going to be able to turn back and fix what we've done. So if we don't act now, we're going to run out of time.